You've stopped into another episode of Dad Crossing where myself, Nick, and my co-host Sean will have real, honest chats about the highs and lows of dad life. We'll laugh together at the craziness of parenting and the silliness of our kiddos, and we'll support each other through the challenges and tough decisions of fatherhood. Whether you're a seasoned granddad or a dad-to-be, we promise laughs, relatable, and sometimes raw talk, and expert help to tackle the tough issues. Not from Sean and me, but from the amazing guests we'll have on the show. So let's be dads crossing through life together. Welcome to Dad's Crossing Dad Life. We're going to be talking about conflict resolution that doesn't involve just punch them back harder. Is the whole idea.
Yeah, that was the closeout comment for
That's right.
for Monday's episode. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
that's more like
it's definitely not helped.
Yeah. It also, like, not that it was ever good. It was never good, but punch you back harder was more widely accepted even like 20 years ago, I would say. You know, you'd be like, listen, you dished it out and so did he, and he dished more, so I don't know what to tell you. But that doesn't fly anymore. Now you're just expelled from school, and then you have a whole thing to deal with. So yeah, so punch back harder is not probably the greatest thing.
No. There is a time and a place for that, but it's better to try and have what we're going to talk about first in terms of conversations and realizations rather than just sucking them in the face.
I tell my kids, listen, if something's bothering you, you try to go tell somebody that's an adult, and if they're not listening, you try to get away, and if you can't get away, you do whatever the heck you got to do to make sure that you're okay, and Dad will have your back no matter what.
Yeah.
And that's what I said. If I go and somebody tells me there was a way that you could have gotten away, then we're going to have words. But if there was no way, if you were in a corner, then you do everything that you can in your power to keep yourself safe. That's what I always say.
Yeah.
So.
And that's the episode, guys. That's pretty much
yeah.
it.
That's not where you want to get to, though. The idea, is the like... Now the idea is how can we fill in the middle part so that we don't get to like that part. So
yeah, it's like how I imagine the conflict resolution side of things is like the same triangle that you have when it comes to like safety at work sort of thing. So you have all the stuff you can do prior to before you get to the last line of defense before somebody gets hurt. So I have the same with a hierarchy for conflict resolution. So can it be avoided? Just as plain and simple as that is, because a conflict doesn't have to be a bad thing. It doesn't have to be two people yelling at each other. Conflict is just a disagreement on something. So, and toddlers get this from early on. They see a kid with a cup. They want that cup, so they try to take that cup. Therefore, there is conflict. It doesn't mean they don't like each other. They just both want the same thing, or both want different things. So it's just trying to find a way of getting them to come to terms with that not everything can be how you want it to be. Sometimes there has to be that compromise, and that's how you avoid conflict, is with the compromise. So the first thing is try and teach them about what conflict is, because it might not always be very apparent.
Yeah, that is a great point. I'm probably going to reference my wife a lot here in this episode. Like just gonna disclaimer up a front. And so like Becca teaches like bullying classes. That's like one of the first things state mandated she has to do. And when teaching bullying classes, one of the first things she teaches is like what is bullying, right? Like Jimmy called me a poopy head. Not if it only not bullying, right? Like it's just you guys more of a you guys had a thing, and now you just have to figure out you know. And so it's really interesting because you're right. I think people don't understand entirely always what conflict looks like, and sometimes they think it's something else. And on the flip side of that, sometimes they don't understand. Maybe they've been in conflict all their life and they don't understand that they're even in conflict. Like they don't even, they're just like, that's okay. He's just like not very nice to me, but that's how everybody is. So it's okay. And it's just like, oh, that's okay.
Yeah, that's that, and that's a trauma-based side of it,
Mm-hmm.
where these people that are always in that conflict might just might just be okay with, like you say, they're comfortable with it. So it's the environment that they live in, so they don't realize it. Especially young kids as well, because young kids can see it. Parents argue, families argue. So if they've grown up seeing a lot of people arguing and stuff like that, they might just think it's the norm. So
Yeah.
yeah, which isn't a very nice thing to think about, really.
Yeah. Yeah. No, definitely. So like when your kids have conflict, because this is like where like it plays a part for me. Like when Noah and Ariel are at odds. Like how okay, I'll just say like one of the ways, especially recently, I've been trying to handle it is to really let them sort it out, right? Like be shadow them in the background to make sure this doesn't elevate to a level where where physical harm starts happening, which usually with our kids that has at this point, knock on wood, never been a thing. But like just to see if they can solve it on their own, and then if it starts to elevate the screaming and all that stuff, then I'll if they can't seem to, I'll kind of jump in and try to help them out. Like what's something that you do?
Um, it's really odd because of them having the 6-year age gap between the
Yeah, I
three
was
of them.
wondering. Yeah.
Like Jay has matured a lot, so she kind of understands or understood when Emily was younger that Emily doesn't understand conflict. So
Mm-hmm.
when they were when they were first introduced to each other, Jaya was 8 and Emily was like coming up to 3 years old, maybe just turned 2. Yeah, 2 and a bit. So Jaya had all these really nice toys that Emily wanted to play with, and rather than Jaya being like, "No, that's mine, you can't play with it. No, that's mine, you can't play with it," she was just really chilled out and relaxed about it. She was showing Emily stuff, so there was never really that conflict there with that. Um, and that kind of continued with them. We get more conflict between Logan and Emily,
Sure.
because Emily's now at like 13, wanting to do her own thing all the time. So she'll like go in a room and she'll be drawing, which she's a really avid drawer,
Mm-hmm.
or she's doing some kind of paper art where like with folding and cutting and sticking things together and stuff. And Logan will be like, he'll go in and be like, "Do you want to play Fortnite with me?" And Emily's like, "No, I don't want to play Fortnite. I'm doing this." And Logan's like, "Yeah, but I want to play Fortnite with you." And Emily's like, "No, I'm busy doing it." So he'll come out and he's like, "Emily won't play Fortnite with me." So what do you mean Emily won't play Fortnite with me? And he's like, "Well, I asked her and she said no." I was like, "Well, what's she doing?" She said, "Well, she's drawing and doing this and doing that." I said, "Well, that's what she wants to do. You can't force her to." Can't turn around and say, "Emily, stop doing that thing that you're interested in and play with your brother." So you can't do that, Logan. I can't force somebody to do what you want them to do. So we can come to a compromise. It's like once Emily finishes later, we'll all play together.
Mm-hmm.
So you can play on your Switch, Emily can play on the Xbox in her room, and I'll play on my Xbox, and we'll do that. And that usually settles it. I mean, it doesn't end up happening because like Emily then disappears off. Logan goes and does his own thing and completely forgets about the entire thing. But that's the way that you're trying to find a compromise where like Emily's doing that right now, but let's schedule some time together to play Fortnite later, sort of thing. So it's real simple. But when he was younger and like Emily was playing with her toys and Logan was playing with his, and he wanted his toys to play with Emily's toys and stuff like that, that's when it got a little bit rough because like he was a small boy child and just used to it's like hammered like his cars at like Emily's dolls and stuff, and it was like, no, yeah. So it was a bit more difficult then, but definitely being able to talk to them and have an actual conversation with them and be able to compromise definitely makes parenting a hell of a lot easier.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. One of the other things, especially with Noah, because a lot of the times, I mean, this isn't always true. This isn't always true, but it feels like it's more true than not. Like Ariel is in the wrong. Like she's trying to grab something that might not be hers, or she wants like one of the things that Noah has that maybe none of them are hers. And so, Noah will like rip it back and be like, "This is mine, Ariel. You don't get it." And I'm like, and then she'll go stomp off crying, and I'll be like, "Hey, you have 6 of them. Are you wrong? Is it yours?" "Yes, it's mine. I'm not wrong. It's mine. I can do what I want with it." "Sure. Okay. Roger that. You're not wrong. Good job." I was like, with your sister now crying in her bedroom because you ripped it away from her and reminded her that all these are yours and none of them are hers, are you happy? Did that make you happier now that you can hoard all 6 of these things that you probably can't even play with all 6 at the same time? "No." "All right. Well, so maybe there was a compromise we could have made here where she could play with 2. I don't know. Just a thought, And so like it's really like I've really been trying to teach him that, like, are you wrong? Because he's really got a black and white. And I mean, I raise my hand. I am right. He gets it honestly from his father. And so it's like, you're not wrong, Noah. But maybe the way you handled this situation wasn't right either. So and so it's like I've really been trying to work with him on that particular aspect.
Yeah, and it's hard to do because he's kind of watched you growing up, being the oldest, and like obviously he was a father figure and has kind of tried to follow with how you see things. So it's right and wrong. It's yes and no. It's like black and white.
Mm-hmm.
So he'll want it to be right, and he's seen that she's playing with something that's his, which he might treasure, and he's like, no, that's mine. Yoink, give it back. But then obviously feels the emotions of that, like afterwards that Ariel's upset, and it's kind of like sunk in a little bit when you've asked him the questions, and he's kind of like, yeah, I'm in the wrong here, and as much as I am right that this is mine, I'm also wrong for just snatching it out and hurting my sister in terms of she's now gone away crying. So, but yeah, that again, that's another it's conflict resolution 101. Even as adults, you can say and do things that you end up unintentionally hurting somebody else's feelings, but no, you didn't mean anything by it, but you were just having your own opinion, and unfortunately hurts the other person's feelings.
Yeah, and I think that's something as adults we have to really work on, right? Like that's the thing. Like that's the thing in marriage. I think that was one of the like there's if you're arguing, then there's no real win other than the win. I guess what's the win? The win is if you both can walk away understanding and communicating. But like if you're arguing, there's no real win to win. Like if you win, in the end, you probably lost. Just gonna tell you that right now.
Especially if it's like, I can guarantee that there is no way of ever being right in an argument with your wife. You just walk away having made the correct point, but still the bad guy.
Yeah, that's right. Like it's like, and so it's that same thing. Like he walks away, he's like, I won. I'm like, but did you win? Did you really win, Noah? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, trust me, I've been there before. I'm like, no. You're gonna see this point my way, and you're gonna understand it. Like, oh, well, now I just feel like a jerk. So I guess there's that.
It's having. I think kids bring that out, and as well, it's they're having the ability to step back and see the wider picture of things when you're in an argument with your spouse. It's like, I do it. I used to do it a lot. I used to get just to the point where I didn't feel like I was being heard, and Lindsay's feeling like I'm not seeing things from her point of view. So we'd end up arguing, and voices raise and raise and raise, and it's just like, "Rawr." But now it's like, I'll see that coming beforehand, and I'll be like, I can't carry on like this. We can't carry on with a back and forth because it's not getting us anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna go take the dog for a walk, or why not you go for a bath, and we'll come back to it later. And then usually when we come back to it later, and you're not heated and seeing red, and there's that like not anger, but there's the whole chimp paradox thing is fight and flight or freeze. So the part of your brain's like, well, this person's arguing with me about this, and they're not seeing my point. My feelings are hurt, and you haven't let the human side of things come in. You've just full blown chimp.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't help when you've got chimp versus chimp. Somebody needs to have that human aspect. So
Yeah.
being able to take that step away from the situation, cool down, kind of collect your thoughts, and then go back and carry on having an actual discussion rather than an argument is very, very useful.
Yeah. Yeah, it's to remember, I guess, for me, because I can be a very much like win, or at least I was. I don't do that much anymore, but I was very much like, I'm going to win this argument or this debate or whatever. And it's to remember that, like, that other person is somebody with feelings that you really love. So, let's not forget the compassion, even if you're right. Are you being compassionate about how you're being right, basically? So,
yeah. I mean, we had a little to do with the organizational board. It's like yesterday was the first of the month. Lindsay was out for a big walk with the dog, and we had a few things to do because we were going out in the evening. So I was like, I'll get the board off the wall, I'll wipe it clean, and I'll start filling the board out. And Lindsay got back, and I thought I'd done a really good thing because it's like, I've got all the dates done and everything's okay and so on. And she's like, what have you done? It's like, what do you mean? She goes, well, number one, I enjoy doing this. This is the thing that I want to do. Why have you done it? And I was like, well, I've done it to try and be helpful. It's like, but I also like it because it's organizational and it really sings to me. But she was like, yeah, but now if I have to add anything, it's not going to be in my writing, so the writing's going to be mismatched and stuff. And then, like, I got really annoyed because I was like, well, does that mean you don't like my writing? She's like, oh, that's not the point. And then, like, I got defensive and I shouldn't have done. It turned into like a back and forth that we didn't need to have. It was over a board. And I was like, I'm really, like, at the end of the day, I was like, I turned around and I apologized. I was like, I didn't understand that it was going to be as big as an issue. I said, I thought you might have been a little bit annoyed that I've done it, but you could let it go because,
because you
it's
loved
the first time
me.
I've ever done it, and because I was trying to be helpful. But now I understand that the helpful thing I could have done was wipe the board clean and leave it sat there and wait for you to get back to go through it. So, and that was one of those arguments that could have turned into like me getting really annoyed and either just taking the board and just sticking it in the trash outside and be like, well, we just want to have a freaking board. It's fine. But like I kind of sat there, I collected my thoughts a little bit and was like, well, yeah, she's right. I'm wrong. I did it for all the right reasons, but I'm still in the wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, it's funny. Like we didn't have much of an argument, but it was like so. I talked about. I think we talked in the podcast. Maybe we talked after. I can't remember. But like Becca's staying up late for summer, whatever, and I'm going to bed earlier, and she's getting up later, and I get up earlier, and I kind of just like I just start to like do the thing because I very much just want to get everything done. So that hence the reason like. The podcast we did on Monday, I was like, hey, can we push this an hour? Because I was like, listen, if I can just get the mowing done, then after the podcast, I know I'm done, and I don't have to go back out and mow, right? And so, like, I'm just doing the thing, and so I start doing laundry, and she's like, just stop. And I'm like, what? And she's like, I want to do something so that when I wake up, I feel like I'm actually productive. And she's like, just let me do the laundry, please. And I was like, but I'm right here. It's in the thing. I can get it done. I can check it off my list. It'll be great. She's like, don't touch the laundry. And I was like, okay, fine. I mean, legit, it didn't no skin off my back, right? Like, it should be like no big deal. Like, it's just like it's this thing that I'm doing that I don't have to do, and I can do whatever else I want to do. But yeah, it was just like this thing of like, but I can make it. I can put like an M initial by it and check it. Now we don't have a board like that, but like in my head, it's like I did this. Check NM, and it's just it's
Yeah.
like, and so yeah, I was like, okay, I was like, fine, it's yours. You have at it when you get up. So
Yeah. I don't know. Lindsay's been in a bit of a conflict with herself today. Because she woke up, she wasn't feeling too great. She had a headache, and then halfway through the day, she was like, I asked how she was. I texted her from work. I was like, "How you feeling? How you doing?" She's like, I'm feeling really lazy." I was like, "Well, you don't feel well. It's fine. Just, chill. Don't forget, you've already taken the dog out for a walk. You took Logan swimming. You took him to the skate park. And you're gonna take the dog out later. It's not like you haven't done anything. You just in between all those, you're resting because you've not felt very well." So I didn't get a response to that, I don't think. But it's like
you're there, letting her.
a bit.
You let her know that it's okay that she feels this way because of the current state of things. So I think that's good. Sometimes that's all you can do. Have your kids ever had like a knockdown drag out conflict, like pushing, shoving, like the whole like? I hear of these. Maybe we're just blessed, but I have never witnessed our children like in full on like fight mode conflict.
I don't think they have. I know there's been a time where Emily kind of pushed Logan on the stairs because he was just in the way, being an obnoxious little Logan when he was like a toddler. And she pushed him, and we had a really good word with her about that because it was very, you're on the stairs.
Right.
He's a lot
smaller
than you, so on and so forth. But they've never I don't think they've ever come to blows.
Mm-hmm.
And I know growing up, me and my brother, it's a completely different story. We've had numerous fights over the years as kids. How my mum put up with that, I have no idea. Just we were like, there's 3 years difference between me and my brother, and pretty big guys, and we're pretty big kids as well. Oh, and it never solved anything. I can remember the last fight and argument we had. It was like the one to end them all. And he kicked my car and left a dent in the wing of the car. So I chased him down the street and full on uppercutted him into a bush. And then it was like, that was the last time we ever had a fight, because I must have been 18. He was like 15. And it was kind of like a oh crap moment. So yeah.
Yeah, for any listener who doesn't know, I grew up an only. So I legit just don't have the stories. I hear about them like from you and other friends. But I just don't have the stories. I will say that like the only reason R2 didn't get, I really credit Noah for this, because Ariel, there was not much anymore, but there was a time when Ariel wasn't getting her way that she would like elbow you or I would watch her like push Noah or something like that. And I would just like legit be honest with her. I'd be like, Ariel, I was like, there were other ways to handle that. And I'm just going to level with you. If you're at school and you get upset and you decide to elbow somebody or somehow get physical with them, I was like, and you pick the battle with the wrong person, I said, it's going to go real bad for you, because you're a teeny little girl. Like you're feisty and all that. I get that. But like, you're going to be flattened one day if you do that. So I was like, I would stop that right now. I was like, because I do not want to see something bad happen to you. And so I really credit Noah, because Noah would oftentimes just be like, don't punch me. Don't do it again.
Yeah. We've had to have one conversation with Logan in terms of that kind of thing. The park on the estate, he was going up to there was a bunch of kids playing football on there, and he did like the loser emote dance from Fortnite.
Oh, I remember you telling me about this. Yeah.
And they the kids were really good, because later on, while Lindsay was taking I think she was taking the dog out alone with him. Like the kids stopped Lindsay and like, "Oh, is that your little boy?" And explained to him. They explained to Lindsay what they were doing. And we had to have this conversation with Logan. Like, if you did that to the wrong group of kids,
Yeah.
that could have gone completely the wrong way for you. And he was like, "What do you mean?" He said, "Well, you were being a bit of a jerk, and some people will stand for that. Some people won't stand for that." And he, "Well, what would they have done?" I said, "All depends, but it they could have beat you up. Basically, there was a lot more of them than there was of you, and that's the outcome of that situation. Is that as much as you were just joking and thought it was funny, they could have not taken it the right way. So
Yeah.
we kind of had to. There's an element of explaining how not to be a jerk.
Yeah. No, I think. Well, I mean, I think that, and to be fair, whether this is right or wrong, we have told Noah sometimes, like, "Hey, buddy, you're really just being a jerk. Like, I'm just gonna be honest with you. Like, I mean, I was like, I wouldn't want to hang out with you right now with the way you're acting or doing or stuff like that." And he's like, "Why do you call me jerk?" And I'm like, "Well, you're kind of being a jerk." I was like, I was like,
fits.
you know, and yeah, and I'm like, and I'm real honest with my kids. Like, you know, I'm like, listen, I can be a jerk sometimes too. I get that. Like, you're just in a mode, you're in a mood, you're in a bad space. I was like, go find something to do. Just don't talk to people. Like, instead of being a jerk, just let us know you need space and go do your thing and find your space. Like,
and I think that's the right way to do it as well. Is call them out on that, because if you didn't, Noah could grow up thinking that that's the right way to act like that, and potentially be in the wrong situation and it turn out bad, or just people would avoid him because they think, that guy's a jerk. I'm not going to hang out with him. I'm not going to spend time with him. I don't want to employ him. That's an element of that. Is we're trying to raise kids that will then go up to be like decent adults.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
But right now, with my kids' ages being 9 and 11, we're working real hard to, like, let them play out their own conflict resolution until it gets too far and it's not working. Like, or it works and then we'll be like, "Hey, good job, guys. Way to handle that. That was good." Or if it doesn't, then it's like, whoa. Okay, let's take a breath and figure out, like, what could we have done? Did you really need to do that? Did you really need to say that? Was there a better way we could have said that? Can you see why he's upset? And just kind of work through it while also trying to help them solve whatever the conflict was initially. So that's currently where we're at.
When they do a good job of fixing it, do you get them to like kind of sit down and realize why it was a good way of the good way to sort it?
I don't usually sit down with it. Normally I'm just like, "Hey guys, way to go. Way to handle that." That's usually what I'll say is like, "Way to handle that."
Yeah. Just because it's that positive reinforcement, isn't it? So the negative, when you pull them up on the negative and then try to show them the positive side of things, but then if they've done a really good job and it hasn't needed you to intervene, it's equally as nice to turn around and say, "Look, guys, you did a really good job with that, because this could have been the negative outcome for what you did, but you guys handled it this way."
Yeah, no, that
So
that actually
it's
would
kind
be
of
a good
like-
idea. Letting them see what could have happened, like the way what they avoided. So yeah, that wouldn't be a bad idea to let them see that. So, and actually, here recently, not a bunch, but like a couple times, I have not done that, or just been like, I've been in like, I'm like, "Guys, let's stop," and Noah will be like, "Dad, leave us alone. We're gonna figure this out." And I'm like, "Okay, fine, whatever." So he's and so I mean, I hope he's working that way with that stuff to because it's so huge. Like that's a large bit. Like there are, like you said, there are so many different frameworks of conflict, right? Like it's conflict with your kids, conflict with your peers, your coworkers, your wife, other family members, just conflict at work. I mean, conflict at work is probably one of the biggest things I deal with. It's like my red alert phone of like, "Hey, we got a problem. Somebody doesn't want to do this. Somebody did this. we don't agree on what way to build this, and so it's like that's a big part of what I do. So
It is,
yeah.
and it kind of sits with the like when we had the whole conversation about lying as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that you would there is times and places for conflict
Yeah.
and difference in opinion, and it's how you handle that time and place for that difference of opinion, how you voice your opinion, so you don't come across like you're an obnoxious jerk or just shouting
Mm-hmm.
and shouting and shouting until people are sick of listening to you that they just agree. But it's that having that healthy debate back and forth is what pushes and strives most things. Like you said, you're going to have people that can't agree on a way to build things, both equally good ideas, but is there a way that they can mingle them together so both ideas make one great idea? Um, so yeah, it's a small another step into a minefield of parenting in terms of giving them the tools and abilities when you know when the time comes. I mean, we always in the UK hear about people debate club
Yeah.
at schools in
Mm-hmm.
America. We don't have that over here. We just have schoolyard scuffles, and that's about as close as we get to debate club, or as far as I understand, anyway. But again, that's teaching them to be able to be in that environment and put forward their opinion and feelings and have a healthy debate around it with a mediator who can be like, whoa, 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 you're gone too far. Now it's your turn to kind of counteract that argument and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's good to be doing that from an earlier age, but it's great that they do that in schools because I think that's a really healthy thing to do.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. As a little sidestep, it really shocks me that the UK doesn't have like a formal, like a more formal debate club. I mean, it feels like you guys would be ripe for it. You guys would be great at debate club. Like I don't
We're all too polite. I think this. Well, I completely agree that you think that, and that's fine. You're entitled to your own opinion, but this is my opinion.
Yeah, but
I don't like your opinion.
I mean, okay,
I don't care that you don't like my opinion. Here's tea.
okay, unless I just get the like crazy one-offs, which is certainly possible because it's social media. Um, I like watch your guys' parliament. Like you guys
No.
are intense in that thing. Like, I mean,
Parliament's a different kettle of fish.
okay,
There's a lot of loud voices and big personalities when it comes to Parliament, and they are dealing with like the entire of the UK in there.
that's true.
And how
Yeah,
money's spent and stuff like that. So,
yeah.
but yeah, I think they might do. They might. There's obviously got to be a level of going into further education that does have a
Mm-hmm.
healthy debate and stuff like that. But I don't get. I never went through it, sort of thing. I've learned how to deal with arguments and debates and stuff like that the hard way. Either coming out with, a sorry from being told off at work for arguing that point, or praised and congratulated for standing up for what I believe in and making a decent opinion and point. So.
I do think what you were saying earlier is really key though, and something like that you kind of touched on, but just to like drive home, is that like yes, we'll always have conflict, and to make sure to understand that like you I'm going to say like kind of what you're not kind of exactly what you're saying, which is like there will be conflict, and you're not trying to drive the conflict out of the home, like because then somebody's probably not being heard, like somebody, and then they're just going to be like a boiling pot basically, or whatever, a tea kettle, and at some point like they're just going to blow because they're going to feel like they can't or they shouldn't like make conflict because it's somehow bad, but but how to handle that conflict when it inevitably comes. So and
Yeah,
I think that is key, like what you're saying.
yeah, because if you go through, especially for kids, if they don't feel like they have an input to things and they just go along with it, they become resentful of the parents and they become resentful of decisions made where they're not involved. I mean, there's certain ones like had a conversation yesterday with Logan about we were potentially going to go through to Costco because we haven't been for a while. We wanted to go. There were a couple of things that I could pick up because I'm running low on a few supplements. So I thought I could pick up stuff like that. And so Logan said that we might be popping through to Costco before we take him round to his grandparents. And he was like, I don't want to go to Costco. I was like, yeah, I kind of get that you don't want to go to Costco. And I get that because it's not a lot of fun. But you kind of can't stay here on your own because you're 7 and me and mum are going, potentially. So, it can't happen. It's like, yeah, but I don't like it. It's like, yeah, I get that. But it's the summer holidays. And this would be like during the day in the summer holidays would be when I would go in while you're at school is when I would go and do all these things that you don't enjoy doing because I know you don't enjoy doing them. So I hear what you're saying, but unfortunately it's gonna have to happen this way because we at some point need to eat. We at some point need to get these things. So, we have to do the boring stuff. Can't always do loads of fun stuff or just one parent go and do the chary bits that the other one doesn't want to. I think our little visitor just tried to shout at something.
Sean has a guest dog. What kind of dog is it?
Yes. I'm gonna say like a sausage dog, but I don't entirely know.
All right, fair enough. Called Muji. Am I right? Did I say it right?
Moji. I think so.
Yeah, okay, cool. So, yeah, so I think that is super interesting. Muji's got a lot to say right now.
Yeah, one dog set the other off. So just
that's the problem. You got 2, right? Now they're talking. They're having conflict. Can you help out with Muji conflict resolution here? Not so sure.
I'm trying. Sorry, I muted the back because if they're going to continue to back at each other, I don't think people want to hear that.
Yeah, that's fair.
Why are you both down here now? Right? Oh,
worse
my God.
than the children. Now all we need is all the kids to come down and Lindsay. It'll just be like a party right here on the podcast.
No. Lindsay's here looking very unimpressed at both the dogs, and
giving them the stare.
But yeah, anyway, they have not resolved their conflict.
Okay, to be continued.
Yeah.
What would it be like? Dog crossing. That can be our next thing we do. It'd be our next podcast. Let's see. Conflict resolution while Sean handles his dog problems. To be honest, I don't really know that I have a whole lot more to say. Oh, I will say that ironically, the trip that I took last week that Becca worked on and I goofed off on, it was a conscious discipline, which is a big thing in the education sector around here. It's a type of like way to teach where you're paying attention to, I don't know, I'm going to get this at least 90% wrong, okay? where you're paying attention to like how that kid has been like brought up and what best like approach for their behavior, and it's really what's the word? It helps to like repair relationships instead of I don't know, all kinds of stuff. But anyways, there's this go back in time method. So let's just go to the point and have me stop trying to explain something that I have no idea about. And so the idea is like something happens between 2 kids, and Beck actually used this with our kids a while back, and and they were tired. So I was really like, well, this is going to be an utter poop show, but I'm here for it. So I'll watch this unreal. It actually worked out fairly well. Okay. So you kind of go back in time and you're like, hey, what is the issue you had? What do you think the main problem was? If you could go back in time, how do you think you could change it to make it work better so that everybody would, be at least okay with how things turned out? And so It's this whole like
That's good.
step process.
It's a very good reflection method.
Yeah. Yeah. So
that's kind of like what you do when that would be similar to when you spoke to Noah and Ariel and said, good job, guys, on starting that. You did the right thing, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
But then reflecting back on let's go back, and if you'd have taken a different path, how do you think that would have been, sort of thing?
Yeah.
It's very similar to that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is for sure. And so actually, then also there's the step I didn't mention, which I find like the most. She said it was cheesy. She told me from the very beginning. She was like, okay, I'm going to tell you how this is supposed to work. It's pretty cheesy. And actually, most of it wasn't cheesy, except for like step 3, where they're both supposed to look at each other and do a fist pump and say, "We can do this." And I was like, Becca, there's no way. I mean, you have young kids, you know them way better than me, but like, that's a step too far for me. That's you just have to hop over that step.
Never going to get 2 adults doing that.
We can do this, Sean.
High five.
We're going to figure out our conflict.
Your team.
It would be the best. It really does sound like one of those like work synergy like 5-minute meetings, like 1, 2, 3, we can do this. All right, guys, you got this. Have a great day. And then off they go. Like one of those Walmart team meetings or something like that that I hear about. So, anyways. But other than that, I don't know. You got anything else? Any other points or prompts from our friend?
I don't know, but if you've listened to the 2 dogs shouting at each other, they're now kind of like like squaring up a little bit. So I'm going to keep this bit short and sweet, I think. But no, I completely agree. It's an important skill to have, is having the open discussion about opinions and feelings. It can go terribly wrong. It can cause deeper rooted conflict, but you've got to learn and take the time to kind of understand and reflect and think about other people's feelings. So, but yeah,
sure.
That's all I have left to say.
Okie dokie. Well, then.
So, yeah, thank you everybody for listening. If you have any feedback and stuff like this, if you listen to it and you're in a similar position to like how we spoke about our spouses are with, trying to teach young people about big feelings and understanding how emotions work and to have compassion and empathy for each other, feel free to message us and let us know. It would be pretty cool to have somebody come on and speak as well, if you wouldn't mind. You could do that. Get in touch with us, Facebook, X, and TikTok as well. We've got TikTok. Get hold of us. Everything is at Dad Crossing. But yeah, that'd be absolutely awesome. So thank you very much. Thank you very much for listening. And until next week, see you later.
See you later, guys.
Thanks for tuning in to Dad Crossing. We're here to remind you that this podcast is made by dads for dads. It's a place where all of us can come together, share a laugh, and tackle the wild ride that is fatherhood. If you want to keep the conversation going or just need a safe space to chat or ask for help, you are always welcome to reach out. You can find me, Sean, at Sean_Abbott, and you can find my good friend Nick at Nick10Do. And of course, give our social media platforms a good look over, because that is where we share all the updates, all the laughs, and all the things dad life. That is, everything is at Dad Crossing. For anything more, feel free to drop us a message at team@dadcrossing.com. And until next time, stay strong, stay connected, and remember, you're never alone on this journey. We'll see you in the next episode of Dad Crossing.